is Susannah Haarmann. I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist in Asheville, North Carolina, and today I want to show you how you can do a bowel massage to improve your intestinal motility and relieve constipation. Today we're going to start with a little anatomy lesson because we have to make sure that we get the bowels moving in the right direction. We don't want them going in a retrograde fashion. So I might show you my abdomen, and first I want to explain to you the direction and the pathway that your poop takes in the large intestine. So this journey begins on the inside of your right hip. That is where your large intestine starts as the ascending colon, which is the first of 3 parts that we're going to work on massaging today. So if you were to put your hips right on the inside of your bony prominence on your hip and you were to drop in, then about 1.5 inches, that would be where your ascending colon starts. This bugger goes from the inside of that right bony prominence all the way up to your right rib. So when we do this massage, you're going to be moving the stool in the direction of your first rib on the right side of your body, okay? I like to think about it like moving pieces on a game board. We want to keep those pieces moving towards the finish line, so you always want to start on that right hip. Once you get up to the first rib, this is actually your lowest rib, but we're going to refer to it as the first rib, then that's where the transverse colon begins, and it just goes simply straight across your body to the other rib. Okay, so this is the transverse colon, and you always want to move that stool from the right side over to the left. And then you have your descending colon, which goes from your left rib down to the inside of your left hip. So this is very, very simple, and there is some deviation in the pathway of the large intestine between various people, but we're going to use this because it is the most commonplace technique. I am now going to transition myself to the mat table and demonstrate to you how I do the strokes, what timing I use, and in what direction, so that you can practice this in order to improve your regularity at home. The best time to do this technique is around the time that you would normally poop. So for example, if you're a morning pooper, you may want to do it when you get up in the morning. Or if you tend to poop around lunch after eating lunch, as eating does stimulate peristalsis or movement of bowel within the gut, then you might want to do this right at the beginning of your lunch break. Okay, so here's my stomach. This is the right side of my body. The large intestine is going on the inside of that bony prominence. The ascending colon is reaching up to my lowest rib. Then it turns into the transverse colon, goes across to the next rib on the other side, and then the descending colon starts from that left rib and goes down to the inside of my left hip bone. The way that I like to do this is I like to think of separating each of these tracts of the large intestine into thirds. The reason why I do that is because we always want to move the chest pieces in the direction that the bowel naturally performs peristalsis towards the finish line. From this point in the descending colon, your colon dives deep, turning into the sigmoid colon, because it has to get to the back of the pelvis before the stool comes out through the anus. So you're going to start on the inside of your right hip, and I like to think of scooping ice cream. You stay in the same place, just kind of doing deep scooping motions up towards your right rib. Repeat that before moving on to the second third, up towards the rib, and finally the last third. A good bowel massage takes about 10 minutes, so I like to think about spending 3 minutes on each segment of this colon. You might actually feel some stool in an area and spend a little bit more time there. My hand stroke changes. It's a lot easier to pull stool across the transverse colon than it is to push it. So I'd work on the first, the second, and the third. Now I'm on the descending colon, and at this point I like to take my thumbs and do that scooping motion in the top third down towards my rectum. Then the second third, and finally the lower third, spending about 3 minutes in each of these sections. Thank you for watching How to Do a Bowel Massage, and I'll see you next time.